Peace. I'm alive, victorious.
Universal.
Sincere.
And this is When the Gods Build. What's good, guys? How y'all be, man?
I'm great, guys.
I feel lovely today. Today was a very productive day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a good state. Good mind right now.
Yeah. What
Is
about
my
you?
music too loud?
I don't hear it.
Okay.
Do you hear it, God?
Okay, cool.
How you feeling, sincere? What's good with you, man?
All right, man.
Yeah. See? Told you you in the quote unquote heavens right now, man. Bruce Almighty. It's sincere Almighty over there. White lights, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
feel me?
man.
And that window behind you is a window into your mind. You know what I'm saying? Window into the future. You feel me?
He said,
You ain't gotta close it. I don't want people to have a window to my mind.
like, I don't need nobody all up in my joint.
It's dark. Time to close up shop now.
Yeah,
Right.
man. Yeah, man. So today we're doing another character analysis. You feel me? And today's character is Killmonger from Black Panther. You know.
Mm.
Um, I wanted to start off by overall his character. How do y'all feel about his character? Like what really what were some things about his character that pulled your emotions out or brought some emotions out in you that you wouldn't normally feel?
I could relate. I could relate. Being in the American trenches
Mm.
and not having that father figure, like having the father figure and then losing that father figure and then having to navigate the wilderness on your own, surviving, I can relate to it.
Mm.
Like I understood his anger, I understood his pain. That's what made him a good villain.
Mm. What about you, Sincere?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with that. I think pretty much Killmonger. I mean, Killmonger was he was abandoned, so he got angry about that, and understandably so. He was betrayed. Well, yeah, he was betrayed through the abandonment. The abandonment was the betrayal, just by leaving him. I forgot T'Challa's father's name in the movie. I forget his.
Chaka.
King T'Chaka. He could have took him. So, I mean, naturally, I think abandonment. That joint could turn into a devil inside you if you deal with that a certain way. So, I understand. I mean, I think we all kind of can feel abandoned as black people in certain ways. So it's like I know where he was coming from, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was abandoned, but he was also not in Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? He came to Wakanda. You know what I'm saying? He was more so abandoned in the real world. So it's like he gave him a whole different perspective versus people who already lived in Wakanda and who was already raised in Wakanda. So he kind of had like that rebel spirit. Like I'm coming into a new world, but it's like I'm stepping on niggas. Like yo, who is y'all? You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't got shit on me. You feel me? And I feel like I've already been through the worst. So it's like what the fuck can y'all tell me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he spoke to my rebel spirit for real, for real. And just like also to like the underdog spirit. I always like to see underdogs win. So it's like you wouldn't view him as an underdog, but I feel like his mentality was like an underdog. Like I gotta show and prove to y'all that I'm him, man. You know what I'm saying? Like even when he was killing dude. What's the name of the Black Panther? What was like his original name?
It
What was
was
he?
Prince T'Challa.
Prince T'Challa. Yeah. Like even when he whooped him up the first time, you know what I'm saying? And he said, "This is your king." He was
Yeah.
speaking from that emotion of rebellion, that emotion of yo, y'all can't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like he was like, "Come on, man! Like for real, this is what y'all got going." I've been through way harder than this. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's why I really fuck with him about it. It's like, yo, like, especially being the underdog, it's like, yo, I'm killing everything. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, man. Um, what was some of his, what was some of the things that you analyzed with him, like going through his story that was hardships for him, or was something that he had to get over within the movie?
Um, that pain of losing his father, because it's like he had his father's love. Like it was just him and his dad. Like from what we saw in the movie, his mother wasn't there for whatever reason. It was
Mm,
just him and his dad. And so, and his dad is instilling in him culture, knowledge, creativity, all these different things.
mm,
And then, he outside playing basketball with his friends. He hear gunshots, don't know where it's coming from. Then he done playing with his homies, come back to his apartment. He's just like, see his dad laid out. He's just like, what's going on? So it's like, it's sadness, it's confusion, it's loneliness, it's abandonment, it's anger. Like all these different things are happening simultaneously. Then, for all we know, he had to go into the foster care system
mm,
because, we don't know if he had any other family, outside of his dad, locally. So he may have had to go to the foster system. And so that's a whole nother wave of emotions that he's got to navigate because, again, he has to survive.
mm,
So, yeah, it's just all these different things. It hardens the heart,
mm,
because like even so when we see him as an adult and he has that face off with Claw, and Claw takes his lady hostage, and he just shoots her in the head, without a second thought,
yeah,
because Claw thinking he got the upper hand. He's like, nah, that's just a chess piece for me. Wow, one shot to her head, and then hit Claw next, and Claw's like, oh man, like I didn't realize you was this ruthless. And he's like, yeah, like you thought I was just some other type time. No, I'm really active. I'm out here.
yeah, damn, yeah. We did just do that, like ruthless, no remorse. That's the
Yeah,
when you was breaking it down. That's what I was thinking. Like he has no remorse for anything, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Sincere? What was some hardships or struggles that stood out, along the way in the movie with Killmonger?
Um, I think a hardship that he obviously was battling with all of what True Universal was saying, power. Um, kind of like in supreme mathematics, where some people have power, but then some people have power or refinement. And as I've looked at and walked with that mathematical expression for 10 years now, I mean, I definitely realized that when you have power and it doesn't have a degree of refinement that you're constantly exercising alongside power, it will corrupt you because at
Mm,
any point in time you can do what you want to do. There are no limitations, and if you don't have like a taste of what that would look like or be like on the other side of that coin, there really is no internal mechanism that you would stop at. So he was dealing
Yeah,
with the lust of power ultimately, which is
mm,
that was the apex of all of the emotions that the God was just explaining that he was dealing with. Was the apex was all going to power, but it really wasn't power with any refinement, which was the ultimate reason for his demise. So I mean, that lesson was a lesson that he was facing that he didn't overcome, which is the lesson of his death. That's his
yeah,
death,
it brought him to his demise. You know what I'm
right?
saying?
Because he didn't move
Like,
past his lesson.
yeah, and it's kind of crazy because like now, like when you break it down like that, it's almost like he had a false sense of what power truly is. He was seeing it for what it appeared to be, not what it actually is. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he was like what he thought was power wasn't really power in a sense, you know. And I think it's because of all his pain, it like kind of like tainted his lens of what power was, or more specifically, how I want to word this. His purpose for gaining the power per se. You feel what I'm saying? It's almost like his purpose for going after the power or getting power was in vain or out of hate. You know what I'm saying? Out of a dark place within himself. And I feel like once he got the power that he thought or once he got the power that he wanted, he realized it's not even really worth it. And by then, he dies. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that too. I don't think he had a false sense of power. I think he had a very, very clear sense of power. He was in the
Yeah.
military, you know what I'm saying? He had been taking over nations I think with the military. He did something prior to where he was like he helped the military take over other nations or some shit like that. So he
Hmm.
understood power very well. It's just that his power within was coming from a dark place. You know,
Yeah.
power is power. You know, light or dark is power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He just had not become healed until that dagger went into his heart. Man, he still wasn't healed yet, but he was, he he couldn't move, so he was like, that's a hell of a move. And so you start seeing, obviously the position he's in, so it's like,
Yeah.
man, that was a hell of
Yeah.
a move. You got me. You
It,
know what I mean?
it's because it's like his purpose for power was vengeance. You
Right.
know, like when they brought him into like the throne room, and he was like, he yelled out, he was like, I found my daddy with panther claws in his chest. Like that was the purpose for him to do everything he's been doing. Like he needed to avenge his father's death.
Mm.
That's why he challenged T'Challa, and then made his little a sly remark, hey auntie, which was actually unscripted. It was just that was the funniest part of the movie. It was just unscripted.
Yeah.
Like that was his whole purpose for having that power. Just like I gotta avenge my father. The most powerful person I know is dead, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so then he well, on the beautiful side of him wanting to get to Wakanda, because the dark side of him wanting to get to Wakanda was vengeance. The beautiful side of it was from the stories his father was telling him about, like Wakanda has the most beautiful sunsets and things like that. And so that's literally the only thing he wanted to see on the beautiful side, the light side of power. That's when T'Challa took him, to, the Panther mountainside so they could catch that sunset. And he was like, man, it's even more beautiful in person.
Mm.
So, he really just wanted to experience all of them stories that his father shared with him as a kid, and he was never able to do it with his father because his father always told him like, when you're old enough, I'll take you to your homeland, take you to Wakanda.
Yeah, he never got the chance to. Mm.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
almost in
he
my
so he had
mind.
to so he had to take away what was taken from him.
Yeah, and it's almost in my mind. It's like it's amazing the parent dynamic, especially as a child. You know what I'm saying? Like it had me
Hmm.
thinking about like not to segue from this, but it had me thinking about like Jordan. And one of the main reasons why Jordan had his mentality is because he always wanted his father's approval. You see what I'm saying? Like his older brother used to always get his father's approval and he would hate that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that drove him to be great. It's almost like I feel like Killmonger had the same thing, just in a different shape, of course, because his father passed. But it was
Hmm.
still like the reason is because of my parent. You know what I'm saying? The core of it is because this stems from how my parent influenced me as I was coming up, you know what I'm saying? And the things they taught me, and the things they spoke to me, you know. So that parent dynamic is like very important. And it shows up in that. Like and it's crazy because like mentally you could look at Killmonger as kind of like a child in a sense who's trying to fulfill his childlike desire. Or you could look at him as like a desire that grew from a child, and now that he's a grown man, he still has it, but it still felt kind of like childlike of what he was doing it for. You know, like
He got a
because I mean,
childhood wound.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like avenging your father's death, of course, is very important, but it's a way to do it. And I feel like he was just the raw truth. He was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go in here and make y'all feel me. before actually completing the whole objective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like it's crazy
T'Challa
too because you
was.
can make the comparison to people that are emotional. A lot of people are emotional in this day and time, and they just want to be felt. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that was the disconnect. Once he got that power and he felt like even though it came very, very at the end where he was realizing shit, and I don't really think he realized to the fullest totality of the other side and how his game for power was really egotistical. But what was I getting at? Damn, I just lost my train of thought. Damn, I just lost my train of thought, bro. I just had this shit too. But yeah, getting back to that, but it just seemed like it was like from a child's point of view of why he was doing it. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really feel like he was like he it didn't really refine his purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's more so just emotion. It wasn't really an objective purpose. It was an emotional purpose of why he did what he did. You know. And by the time he died, he kind of realized it. But I ask y'all that question: do you think he fully realized the lesson that he needed to learn on his path and on his journey?
No, because he got killed. But the act of him getting killed tells you that. If he would have realized it before, then he wouldn't have got killed. You see what I'm saying? Because he would
So
have not been fighting T'Challa.
you don't think like throughout the whole movie he never even had an inclination or never realized it?
No, you can tell by his actions. The whole just by looking at his actions, you know that's why he ends up getting killed. If he would have realized that before, he would have never been. He as soon as T'Challa came back at that scene after he had got resurrected when they gave him the herb because the other I forgot the name of that other tribe. The Jabari tribe had him, and they retrieved his
Hmm.
body, and they fed him the herb and brought him back. And then he
Yeah.
showed up. When he showed up, and then that's when they got to fighting. If he would have realized that at that moment, that wouldn't have happened, and he wouldn't be dead. So no, he didn't. He didn't realize that he had a childhood wound, which is the childhood wound is what yeah, going back to the clip, splits you like broken glass. It stunts you right there. So when he was whatever age he was at that time when he went in that apartment saw his dad, that's the part of him that was acting and moving because it was wounded, and so it speaks to dark psychology in the realm of emotions and what happens
Hmm.
with an emotion when it is dark. That's what this shit speaks to, and it speaks, and in each and every one of us, we have one of those. Whether I'm going through the grieving process of some of mine right now. Anytime something happen, we see them and be like, "Damn, I need to look at that."
Hmm. And to show and prove exactly what you're saying, when when Killmonger took the heart shaped herb to go through that whole ceremony, when they submerged him in the hot sand, when he came out, he was in his child self talking to his dad.
Right,
Mm,
right.
yeah, I forgot about that scene. Yeah. Mm, damn. Yeah, so that definitely cements it further. Would you think like I feel like even though he was acting out of emotion, Killmonger was the example of truth, like raw truth. Like he didn't really give a fuck about emotion. It's just like I'm gonna cut through all that bullshit. You see what I'm saying? No matter what or how people was feeling, he didn't really have a care for anybody that he was around. You feel me? I feel like he really just wanted to make his point known, but he cut just like the truth. You feel me? Like the truth, people accept or reject. You feel me? But the truth is always gonna be the truth. And I feel like to make his truth known, that's how he carried all his shit. You feel me? He didn't have no remorse for nobody.
I feel like go ahead, Carl.
All right. I can see that to a degree because his actions caused T'Challa to course correct what his predecessors were not doing. That's why like when T'Challa when he was resurrected and he confronted his dad and all the past kings, and he was just like, yo, all of y'all are wrong. This is one of our own, and y'all left him. Y'all knew he was there, and y'all left him. Y'all could have brought him home, and none of this would be going on. We have all the
Mm-hmm.
power and technology to make the world a better place, and we do nothing with it except, keep ourselves closed off from the rest of the world. So Killmonger's
Mm.
actions did shape or did help shape the future of Wakanda in a sense and make them really look at themselves like, we can do a little bit more. We can open ourselves up a little bit. We don't have to make ourselves totally transparent, yet we can, help out some neighboring nations and things like that.
Yeah, because see, and what you're talking about, taking it from the movie context, but putting it in the context of just personifying as a person,
Hmm.
is speaking to how each one of us, because see, Wakanda, they were operating from a place of fear of, they don't want the world to take advantage of what they
Right.
had, which is also
Correct.
understandable, very
Hmm.
understandable. I don't want the world to fuck around because we know what the world has done in the past with certain resources.
Correct.
So I have to be mindful about how I'm going to share this with you. So it's like, I see that point of view.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to say it was a place of fear. It had fear present, but not negative fear. It had fear in the form of awareness. Like, oh, if we share
Hmm.
this shit with the world, this might not, yeah, it might help, but it may be people amongst us, amongst the world, that may use this for the demise of the masses, which is true.
Mm. Mm.
But then on the flip side of that coin, it's one of those spaces that, again, each person, we all confront this in our lives, where it's like having an open heart or a closed heart, and this is kind of, that fine line or that thin line, what I'm saying, of the
Right.
different things we experience in life that Wakanda as a nation was going
Right.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
through. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's like it's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. So it's like the stuff
Definitely.
that the past kings did. Yeah, but don't get me wrong. T'Chaka definitely could have took the kid. You know what I mean? He could have took the kid.
Yeah.
But as far as them wanting to be reserved in how they share the vibranium with the world, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Right.
I
Yeah.
understand that. It's
Mm-hmm.
tough. It's definitely tough. Um, I can't say that he was wrong for that. He was wrong for not taking the kid for sure, but not necessarily wanting to share the vibranium. And I don't even think it was a situation where they didn't want to share the vibranium. They just know if this shit was in their hands, this is experimenting with high explosives if the wrong person get this in their hands.
They had to be
Right.
wise in how they shared my branding.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it was
Yeah.
tough. It
Yeah.
was definitely tough.
Right. Because
Yeah.
Killmonger's dad stole the vibranium. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and then, because they're brothers, he pulled a gun on King T'Chaka, and that's why he was just like, yo, so shit just went bad quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Um.
was a brotherly disagreement. It
Yeah.
was a brotherhood situation took place. A brotherly disagreement, and within the brotherly disagreement, you have two different perspectives taking place, like we all have amongst each ourselves, any type of brother. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I didn't know that he had stole it. I thought he had it, but he had got connected with the dude Claw, and he was trying to do some shit underground with it that wasn't right and exact. I didn't know he stole it though.
Yeah, he stole it and he was
Mm-hmm.
trying to sell it. He was trying to sell it off so weapons can be made. Because,
To
Killmonger's dad, he
protect
was
people, to
trying
protect himself.
to, yeah, he was trying to start a little revolution out there in Oakland.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Tough, tough.
Um. How do you think the vibranium played a like? Do you think the vibranium played a role or effect in Killmonger's life? Like, or like just knowing, because it's like he went from a place of not like of where vibranium is never even fucking heard of to a place where they got that shit in abundance. See what I'm saying? Like, do you think, or how do you think that it kind of like played into his role and into his story?
I mean, he was looking to following his dad's footsteps. He's just like, yo, there's folks that look like us all around the world, starving, homeless, struggling, and y'all literally have the resources to where that doesn't even have to be a factor. And y'all are just sitting here in your high chairs, having a good old time while everybody else is you know, naked, homeless, and out of doors.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So that furthered his anger. He was just like, we don't have to struggle. Like, we could all be good. You don't have to be dealing with enslavement, poverty, mistreatment, police brutality. We don't got to deal with none of that because y'all have all the resources right here to bring that joint to a stop in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all just letting chaos run amok. So that just furthered his anger once he, was fully aware of what vibranium is, who has it, and then his connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. It's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, you know, conversations that we have all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's almost just, I don't know. It's just stuff, you know, I mean, shit that we see all the time. Like, yo, gee, why are we all doing this separate? Why don't we just put some bread together and do, you know what I mean? It's just that'd be one of mine. And I'd be thinking, like, bro,
Yeah,
everybody got a job. I don't understand. Why are we doing this like this? That's, you know what I mean? It's like stuff. So I understand where he was coming from. It's like, I get it. It
It's
pisses
like
me
two
off
sides
too.
to the same coin.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a balance. Um, how did how does the concept of king differ between Killmonger and T'Challa? And what does this say about leadership?
Really good question. Well, you know, Father, King. In Supreme Alphabets, you have Father and you have King. And as I was sitting back watching Smart Guy recently on Disney Plus, had me tripping too, man. I was tripping off that joint. Um, but I was looking at Floyd, man. Floyd was he was trying to make sure that TJ, even though TJ was 10 years old and he was a genius going to high school, he was trying to make sure that TJ was still learning moral lessons that he needed to learn alongside his intellect. And so you see a lot of navigation that Floyd is doing oftentimes with TJ. It's funny as hell. But it's like, damn, man, Floyd was a good father, but in his fatherhood, his leadership and being able to see on the horizon that if he lets TJ go this route, what might be waiting for TJ. So his leadership to steer him toward striving to get TJ to be a king ultimately as TJ, further develops his intellect or that his wisdom catches up with his intellect because he's 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So, when you look at the Black Panther and you look at Killmonger versus T'Challa, what you see is higher self, lower self. Really, Killmonger and T'Challa is the same individual, is the same entity. It's just one
yeah,
is the higher expression of it, and the other is the lower expression of it. With T'Challa, you can see more of an empathetic tonality. The empathy and sympathy is present. A more warmer hand that he's ruling with, whereas Killmonger is a hard and iron fist, and that hard iron fist is backed by low vibrational emotions. And so they both have leadership, and they both were leaders, but you got to think. I mean, how would you ultimately want people? And then you see in the movie, like the wait when T'Challa showed back up, the female warriors, I forget their names. I mean, they automatically snap
Dora
back.
Milaje.
Yeah,
Dora
they
Milaje.
automatically snap back into it like, and they was about to. They looked at Killmonger like, Ching! You know what I'm saying? So you saw their um their loyalty toward T'Challa
Their
because
allegiance.
of how he rules.
Yeah, in the Dora Milaje before they got retconned, the Dora Milaje were the wives of the Black Panther before they got retconned to just being um his like
Interesting.
main before they got became his like main warrior guard. They were his wives in the
Wow.
in the olden comics. But that stopped because T'Challa was like, nah, we not doing that rule no more.
Damn.
Similar to like Prince Hakeem and Coming to America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like yeah, like nah, I don't want nobody to pick my wife for me. I'm gonna go to America and get my own joint.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
pick my own.
before T'Challa, all the kings, the Dora Milaje, those were the wives.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But it's like you were saying. It's like you were saying, boys. It said, like you said, it's just two sides to the same coin. You know what I'm saying? But I was gonna ask now with those two, concepts of king. Do you think they both could last? Like, which one do you think will fizzle out first? You feel me? The way that T'Challa ruled, or the way that Killmonger ruled?
The warm hand will last longer. The warm hand will get taken out by either betrayal or assassination, like from outside parties, because it's so good, and they're just like, nah, we can't have them have this level of prosperity and abundance. You know, whereas the Iron Fist, it will have its time in the sunshine. It's the people are gonna be deprived and depraved, and they're gonna whisper. They're gonna hate that Iron Fist, and they're gonna prey on that.
Man,
Oh, I'm about to die.
man, yeah, charge that up, man. Charge that up. What do you think,
Oh
Sincere?
my charger.
Well, I think again the movie answers that question. That's why he's dead. I mean, I think on the one hand, I think the movie answers the question by him being dead. But let's just say that that scene didn't happen, right? I agree with what the God is saying. Yeah, I mean, it's like another um analogy or film that I can't think of right now where you see that same thing take place. I mean, when somebody doesn't like somebody, or when you get darker emotions out of people like hate and a real dark disdain, but fear is present too. Because with him it's a disdain, it's a hate, but fear is present. Well, and not even so much fear is present too. You also see in there they have traditionalism present. The traditionalism, she said, my allegiance and loyalty is to the throne, no matter who sits on it. When
Hmm?
Mm,
Okoye.
one of Okoye was speaking to Nakia,
Hmm.
and Nakia was like, "Man, fuck that." So you see,
Right.
she like, "Man, fuck the traditionalism," but she got one on the traditionalism, and you oftentimes get this play out with people traditionalism versus sometimes we see that amongst us. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
know, God might be on something more traditional, and I might say I might be something out of the box shit. You know what I'm saying? So you see that dynamic play out, and so I think when you get people that's wrapped up in fear, but they also have to obey, it's resentment building up in them. So as soon as they get the chance to overthrow, they will do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that right there already undermines the longevity of a negative ruler. But if the people are with you, I feel like it works in your favor for your longevity. But I also agree that if it's too good, eventually, might not happen now, maybe 60, 70 years from now, somebody gonna be looking to overthrow T'Challa. It's like, man, get this guy out of here. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like Farrakhan. Farrakhan, I mean, he been teaching since 1955. Now, he hasn't been technically overthrown. He just got old. But
Yeah.
best believe, it's been somebody there that's been like, let's get this. Like Water Dean. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he was
Yeah,
gunning for
a lot you're
Farrakhan
saying.
for shit. Yeah, I don't know if he was gunning, but he's like, man, get this guy off here. You know what I'm saying? So it just be like that sometimes.
I think no matter what path you choose, you're gonna always have haters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Of course.
it is what it
Different.
is.
Nobody likes the same flavor. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't like the flavor you talking about, I don't like the flavor. Even if it's
Yeah,
quote unquote good.
'cause it's almost like that the harsh teacher versus the nice teacher. Like, because like, of course, initially you're gonna hate the harsh teacher and want to go on the nice teacher side, but then as time passes, you realize the harsh teacher is only being harsh because they want to see you do better now. Like if you go through the harsh teacher, you're gonna be straightened up much more quicker than if you go through the warm, soft teacher, because the warm, soft teacher is kind of like spoon feeding you and kind of babying you. You know what I'm saying? The harsh teacher is like, no, I'm putting belt to ass immediately. I'm making sure that yo, we starting off day one. You gonna know where I stand and you gonna know how this joint is rocking, and I'm gonna get you in shape. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
that's how I see like the two dynamics.
No, for sure. And I think and in this sense, harsh versus a nice, different, right? Where in the other sense, a little bit more intense because you're dealing with an evil or evil intended acts. More so what Killmonger was dealing. He wasn't necessarily a harsh teacher. He was actually evil intended. He was dealing with a whole
Yeah.
other degree of that. But when you say that, it had me thinking about when I was watching the Whitney Houston joint the other day. And Whitney Houston, that was a really good movie too. I didn't really think it was gonna be that good. I think the chick that played it. She did a really good job. But you see in the beginning of the movie, Whitney's mother's harshness on the way that she was. Nope, that wasn't the right note. Let's do it again. Nope, nope, that ain't the way that God wants you to do it. And so you see though, but you also see how this way of teaching is what ultimately is creating shadows of fractured trauma within Whitney. See, I was like, oh my.
Yeah,
So when
damn,
you, as a harsh
damn.
teacher, it's a harsh teacher, it's a lot that you play around with and that you have the power to affect within the student as a harsh teacher. It's like,
I see what you're saying. And some of the shit
yeah,
you bypassed, but that was also her mom. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. It
So it's
had nothing
like
to do with Whitney.
yeah. See, like if it had been a harsh teacher that's separate from your parent, I don't think those dark wounds would come up with that harsh teaching so much. But because it's your parent too, you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? It's like shit. It's almost like
Definitely intensifies it.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like I can see those dark things coming up because it's like, but it's like it's crazy because it's like Whitney's voice was like perfection. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like when you see perfection, it's like at what cost did that perfection come? See what I'm saying?
No, no.
Like, and I wouldn't even say Killmonger's perfection, but like the way his power was, it was so pure and raw and really, really unrefined that it's just like, damn, like, that raw power is beautiful, but it's like, damn, bro, what you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of shit that come with that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, sheesh.
I think he was refined. I just think he was unhealed. You gotta remember, he was a trained killer. He was a warrior.
No, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, if he
that
was
way.
healed and you flipped him on the other side with the same warrior skill set,
He'd be crazy, yeah.
yeah, he just was unhealed. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I
Yeah.
mean, like, the unhealedness brought the unrefinement into which it's like, it's kind of like unwound. It's like wild, you know what I'm saying? He still had, of course, methodologies and ways and systems of doing it and showing forth his power, but the power itself was kind of like
It was
wild and rampant,
unrighteous.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I'll say last question, what lessons can be drawn from Killmonger's character about the importance of understanding different perspectives in social justice?
So it's a loaded question. I gotta think about that.
Yeah, I don't understand
I,
that
I think I
question.
think like
Simplify that question a little
Yeah, I
bit.
don't understand it.
You done gave us a loaded baked potato on that joint. I just need butter.
Yeah, that joint tough.
can Killmonger like what about Killmonger's character? Phrase that now, because I gotta change it around. With justice, you have various sides, of course. I mean, we got two sides, but really, like, it's so many subjectivities within justice. You know, especially social justice. I can't word that shit right, man. Damn. All right, well, I'm gonna switch to a different question then. We can cut this shit. We gonna cut this out. But yeah,
I sent you some in the chat. I don't know if any of those work.
that's what I'm using. But but what lasting impact does Killmonger have on the narrative of Black Panther, and how does his legacy influence Wakanda's future? I started off.
Go ahead.
Off rip, that question just made me think like it definitely showed Wakanda. Hey, look, some shit can happen over here. Everything ain't like some shit can go wrong and some shit can get fucked up out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they was living a lax life for a very long time, and Killmonger came and shook shit up. It was like, yeah, nigga, like I'm a threat, and this is what happens when a threat enters into Wakanda. This powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, remember the threat had entered already because remember T'Challa's father had got blown up or got assassinated a little bit before that. That's how his father had passed because his father was speaking, I think, at the UN or something, and the UN had got bombed or some shit, or like a plane crash or something. But that's how his father had died. That's why T'Challa was
Uh,
now taking over. So they had already gotten threatened.
yeah.
They were already in a sense of not duress, but duress,
But
so
I
to
mean, like
speak.
a threat, like it's actually there. Like this, like yo, if somebody comes and attacks Wakanda and comes into Wakanda, like boom, you feel what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he was only able to do that because he's a Wakandan himself. You know, like no other person could get into Wakanda without Wakanda knowing that you're there. Like you ain't sneaking into their borders. Like they got a whole tribe called the Border Tribe. Like you ain't just getting in undetected. They got
Hmm.
methodologies for that. Um, so I would say in that respect is like be mindful to how you treat the children of your nation. Because if you treat the
Damn.
children of your nation harshly, they may just burn that motherfucker ground just to be warm. And that's an old African proverb actually.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Um, and so, that's why, in our teachings in our nation, we teach that the babies are the greatest because we understand the impact a child can have. We understand the impact that a seed can have once it's in full bloom and blossom, and into an adult tree, and the fruit that it bears, and how many people it can feed from the fruit over time in the change of the seasons. The
Mm.
different herbal extracts from the bark and from the leaves, all from a seed. So, be mindful to treat the children with kindness, with quality education, with good health care, with loving arms and a warm, soft touch. Because if not, if you turn that heart of a child hard and cold, it may come back in a very cold current, and that frostbite ain't gonna be nothing nice.
Yeah.
What lasting impact does Killmonger have on the narrative of the Black Panther? I think the lasting impact. I think the impact of the show, of the movie, of the motion picture was more so about the shadow. It was a shadow work situation. It was a whole shadow. The whole movie Killmonger was the shadow of Wakanda. He represented the shadow work that Wakanda needed to do in order for them to make the world a better place.
Mm.
And that's what he represented. He was the shadow. He was repression. He was suppression. He was neglect. He was neglected emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
And
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda had to deal with that shadow work. That's what Killmonger represents. So I got take and so at the end of the movie you see T'Challa and his sister, they go to the apartment building that was vacant now that Killmonger grew up in, and he said, "I bought it, and I'm gonna turn this into a Wakanda research center."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that was their initiative to philanthropy, or to their way of making the world a better place, doing their part through philanthropy, right? So that was their initiative to make the world a better place, but they had to go within to deal with the shadows to do it. Just like we all have to do that every single day individually. Because see, those
Right.
shadows is what gets in the way of us making the world a better place. So as far as the lasting impact, I feel like the lasting impact is to make best friends with your shadows. And by doing that, you make the world a better place. I was
And cue,
thinking as I
cue
was
the
going.
and now cue the
I was
Michael
thinking
Jackson
as I was
song.
going. I was thinking as I was going, so I was trying to.
To add on to what you're saying, why not kill those shadows? Or do you think those shadows can be killed? Why would you make best friends with them?
Because a shadow of yourself is not. It's not something that necessarily needs to be killed because it's a part of you. It's like a detox. It's like, okay, my liver needs to be detoxed. My liver's dirty. I'm not gonna kill my liver because it's dirty. I'm gonna clean it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna
Hmm.
clean the toxins out. And so the shadow is just a toxin. It's something there that needs to be cleansed. So it's a part of you. You can't just because it's low vibrational don't mean that it ain't a part of you. You need to own that, and you need to give it attention so that you can transmute it from being low vibrational to high vibrational. It's just low right now because you've been neglecting it. You ain't been giving no attention. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You've been going to the gym, but you ain't been working on your legs. You gonna cut your legs off? No, you're gonna get them legs some attention. You see what I'm saying?
It's not necessarily death. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
The answer is not death. The answer is attention. Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah,
so. When you deal with
And
equality,
intention.
equality, yeah, equality is when you deal with equality. Equality is implying that you're about to give something attention,
yeah.
right? That's how you deal in equality. I got a piece of pizza here, God. Yo, God, you want some pizza? I'm giving you attention to give you some pizza. That's
Yeah,
how I
because
dealt in equality.
if I'm talking and you're not listening, I'm like, nigga, I'm not your equal. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
automatically equality deals with attention. So I gotta tend to something in order to give it equality. And anytime I don't tend to something and I neglect it, that's when shit decays. AKA that's when it turns dark. So we don't wanna kill it off. We wanna give it attention so that it can transmute and alchemize into something else.
Mm, mm.
Wisely spoken, sir.
All right, one more question, because you keep bringing what you doing, and you keep making me bring up questions. Is
Okay,
there a time where you try to give attention to something too late
that's a good
and putting it
question.
in that phrase? Because when you mentioning disease, you mentioning darkness, it's like, because I'm thinking about Killmonger. I'm like, it might have been too late to get there.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a good
And
question. Go ahead, go.
to continue with because I'm gonna go at it from a different angle. Shadows exist because light exists. You don't get a shadow without light. Because if you're in complete darkness, there's no shadow. Everything's dark.
Right.
So if you're, out in the daytime, there's going to be a shadow from sunrise to sunset. When sunset kicks in, there are no shadows, unless there's artificial light, such as street
Mm-hmm.
lights and so on and so forth. Or, of course, you got even when it's, you could have moonlight if you're outside. You got light from the stars and things like that. So as long as there is light, there will be a shadow.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, they coexist. There is no separation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, are you saying by them coexisting? Are you saying that that can determine whether something is too late or not?
Well, that goes back to what I was about with the time factor. Like if once the light is shining on a situation, that's the time to give it attention. If you allow time to pass and the sun sets, on that situation and it becomes dark, you may not have the visibility to see it clearly for what it is because you allowed your that negligence to set in, and now it's a out of sight out of mind type situation.
You can't see the
And
light in it no more.
yeah,
Mm,
and truth out of season bears no fruit. So if
mm.
once that season passes of when the truth is the light, and then and the truth shall set you free. So if you allow that truth to be out of its season when it's shown on you, and then now you want to tend to it because tragedy has now befallen you. It's just like, see, if you would have been wise with your mathematics, things could have went completely different had you tended to it. Again, tend, attention, intention. That things would have
Mm.
been in a much more favorable position rather than getting beat with many stripes.
I was
Because
just thinking that, and that
because
servant was knew his Lord's will.
and
Mhm.
prepared not himself. So it's like you always gotta,
According to his will. Shit.
yeah. So you know what I mean, Luke 12:47
Yeah,
out
and
of
to add on to that, go ahead, God.
no, you got it.
No, and to add on to that, going into the solar facts, that's where Saturn comes into play. The equality degree. That's why Saturn is equality. We just talk about that.
Mm.
Saturn deals with chronology and chronos time.
Mm-hmm.
So he deals with giving things equity in your schedule. And we know about that. That's why we got these passion planners. So he deals with that. So it's like, hey,
Yeah.
you ain't get it done today. You know what I mean? It's like that comes with consequences and repercussions in different
Right.
ways.
Mm. Mm.
Because because I
That
can
one
even
right
take that.
there can be scary.
Yeah, I can even add on further because it takes light 500 seconds to go from the sun to the earth. 500 seconds. That's all it takes. So that's power added on to the two ciphers. So again, power is light, and and the light is the power, and light, and the truth, and all that good stuff. So if you're not utilizing your
Mm-hmm.
power in a timely fashion, then you'll become powerless in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
think
Because
that's what that was. I think
there's
that's
always a rain.
yeah.
Mm. And symbolically in that scene at the end of the movie, that's why he went to go see the sun set. Symbolically in that scene, because he was the sun, and that shit was setting on his ass
Mm-hmm.
on
That
multiple
shadow that
levels, not just
that shadow
physically.
is fading.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that scene. You got T'Challa,
Mm-hmm.
and T'Challa's right there as light, but then he's right there as darkness.
Right.
T'Challa's right there as life. He's right there as death. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of polarity taking place in that scene right there when you like, oof, sheesh. You
And
know
then
what I'm
it's like
Yeah,
saying?
because
even
they
and then to
even
bring it
played
back
on it
into
with the
go ahead.
I was gonna say they even played on it with the with their suits, with their Black Panther suits. Like T'Challa had the silver and Killmonger had the gold. So Killmonger was already seeing himself as superior to T'Challa. It was like, man, I got the gold joint on. I ain't rocking with that silver. I'm better than you. Yet gold. Yet even though gold in financial markets is superior to silver, when you look at the worldwide use of silver, it's more important than gold is because silver is utilized
Mm-hmm.
way more than gold is.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why
Yeah.
So
that
yeah,
is.
And materials and the things because of the material itself is used. It's almost like how you could argue that copper is more important or more useful than silver. You know what I'm saying? Because there's more uses of it to make certain materials. Like with copper, it needs to be used to create chips. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be used to create. I mean, well, pennies are gone, but it's used to create a lot of things. You feel me? And a lot
Yeah,
of materials. That element. So
yeah,
it's
but I'm
like,
curious on why though.
what you mean?
So if I'm curious on this is another
Yeah,
conversation
another
on it,
offshoot.
but But just curious if gold, right, is quote unquote considered to be the highest or the top most top tier precious metal, but yet it is not used as in is it's not used as in as many things. It's like I wonder why. I mean, like could you not
Like,
make those same things that could those
yeah,
same things that use silver could they not be made as gold? And I don't want to assume just because gold is not in them, didn't know. But it's like
yeah.
Hmm.
so
We'll say that for the next discussion.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
conversation for another
I was
day.
just thinking.
So where we can come back
Yeah, yeah,
more scientific.
mhm.
yeah, yeah.
And
But
it's
no, that
crazy.
was,
I wanted to bring up too, because like you were saying, T'Challa was life, Killmonger was death. It's kind of like it was a dance too, because T'Challa had to die and Killmonger had to reign in order for people to realize what this dark energy can do when it gets to us, when if it could get let it allow itself to rule in this realm. You feel what I'm saying? Like
right.
it's kind of like a dance between the two, because it's like, damn, T'Challa died, Killmonger got the reign for a little bit, so people could really get that taste of what it would feel like under powers, under that iron fist. You feel what I'm saying? They're like, man, I'm not
Hmm.
fucking with this iron fist. I want that warmth. And then he had to come back and do what he had to do to show you, like, okay, yeah, this is what it is. It's like a dance of life and death with the whole and throughout the whole movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, survival of nature's survival, universal law. It's always this dance between life and death that's happening all the time. Even right now as we speak, even though it doesn't appear because we're
Right.
sitting on the computer and shit, it doesn't seem as urgent. But
Yeah,
only time makes it more urgent. Like the time factor again. So it's like, damn, man, this shit is. It's like
yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
No, it is. It
Another
is.
another thing I noticed too was like when Killmonger took over, the Border Tribe joined him, and I was looking at even like the age gap. Like all the other tribes, like the heads of those tribes were older, yet the Border Tribe had more of like a middle-aged um head. He was probably like had to be like in his
With the green.
late. Nah, the Border Tribe was the blue.
Mm,
The green was Nakia's tribe.
with the
Mm.
lip plates.
Yeah, like
I look at
they
they
were
had like
all.
lip plates and shit.
Yeah, like all the other tribes were like they were older, like the woman in the red and the man in the green, like they were all older. Whereas in the blue, the Border Tribe, like they was like younger because it was mostly men, because like they had to protect the border. And so they had more. So they was
Mm-hmm.
ready for a shakeup. They was ready for a little change, because they was still hurt from like when Claw came and stole their vibranium, because like that was hurt for them, because like he Claw got through the border, so it's their um their pride is hurt in a sense. It's just like he had to get through us in order to get to the vibranium and this, that, and the third. And so like they had that more tenacity to utilize their strength and make some stuff shake.
Yeah, but then they
Where
show a lot of
everybody else is
times.
where
Yeah,
everybody else is more pacifist.
I see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough story. I mean, I think it's a powerful movie. It had a lot of powerful. I had to go back and watch the second one again now for sure. I think it's funny when they at the scene that they're taking when they go into the ancestral realm. Kind of like going into the dream world and those more lucid realms. I mean, really,
Mm,
you know, from an astrological perspective, or we take it to the solar facts, what I'm saying, is going into that 12th house. 12th house represents the house of Pisces when you start going into those lucid, those other realms of existence. And he had to go to that other realm to get answers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really made me think about, how sometimes you have to go to other places to get answers for where you, and it doesn't have to be physically, but mentally or spiritually or internally, how you have to go within yourself to get to them other places to get answers. So that you can give you some insight and some guidance on what to do right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, man, that was a powerful film. I think we cracked it. I think we cracked it.
yeah.
You cracked it, man. With that being said, I'm alive, victorious,
True universal.
I'm sincere.
and this is When the
When the
Gods
gods
Build.
build.
Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.